Aren't you all curious about Joe's underwear? I know I am, and we'll talk about it on Comic Book Canon. That's right. Most of the time I come up with the cold open one-liners 15 seconds before the show. Joe did a great job in the chats about that. And if you guys want to know about Joe's underwear, please put something in the chat. Let us know specifically what you want to know about it. Obviously color, size, brand, those kinds of things, and maybe any other kind of exotic questions as well. But before you get any answers, I have to bring my good friend, partner in crime, and co-host of the show in. First, Joseph, underwear talk. How are we?
Yeah, just for the record, no one will be seeing my underwear.
Good.
Because I'm not wearing any.
Oh, boom! That's outstanding.
No, just kidding. I am. I was walking around a comic show, and I would have chafed if not wearing my nice Reebok boxer briefs.
Let me tell you about something about chafing. This may be a little bit too much information, but sometimes I wear these. I guess they're Lucky brand boxers, and when I go running, chafing, no doubt. Whenever I wear them. But if I wear another brand, I think I have Hanes, much better to work out in. So if anybody has any kind of underwear information they'd like to share, Dan, come on, man. You want to know as much about us just like we want to know as much about you. So let's stop playing here because you know. All right, Joe. So I don't know. We got a lot of stuff. We got a nice show tonight. Nice Sunday night show. It's 34 degrees.
Yeah.
Where I am right now. I turned the heater on for the first time. What about you, Joe?
Our heater's been on for a little bit. No Eagles this weekend, so it's kind of been a little bit.
And we're not gonna have an Eagles game on Sunday because we have the Monday night game.
Yeah. That being said, I mean, we don't have a ton of news, but we have some big news, and we're gonna get into that right
now. Attention! Comic book enthusiasts! I, Johnny Galactico, have hijacked comic book canon for this special announcement. People of Earth, listen up. I am Johnny Galactico, and innocent of the crime of stealing Amazing Fantasy 15. Yes, I know what you're thinking. But Johnny, the evidence is overwhelming. Well, I'm here to tell you that the evidence is a lie. It's all been fabricated by my enemies in an attempt to destroy me. I am a man of integrity. I would never steal a comic book, let alone one as valuable as Amazing Fantasy 15. So to all of you who doubt my innocence, I say this: you will be proven wrong. The truth will come out, and my name will be cleared. I am Johnny Galactico, and I am innocent. And to you two losers, I say this: you're gonna pay for what you've done. I'm gonna make sure that you never...
Hey everyone, it's Chet Geapot, the hero of comic book canon. That's right, I'm the one who just shut Johnny Galactico down for good by destroying his server room. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Chet, you're such a hero. You're the best. And you're right, I am the best. So now that Johnny Galactico is gone, we can finally get back to talking about comic books. The real way, without all his lies and propaganda. To comic books, and to me, Chet Geapot, the hero of comic book canon. Back to you, Jeff and Joe.
Whoa, that was trippy as hell. Oh, wow. Boy.
I don't think that's a comic book canon first. We've never had our live stream hijacked before.
Never. We have never had our stream hijacked. Chet's, I have to admit, and I'm not kissing ass because he kind of has some power here, but Chet is growing on us, I think, he's becoming one of us. You know what I mean?
He saved the day.
He saved the day. Not only that, he looks super heroic doing it.
Yeah, P. Keel says that why is Chet's head on Dan's body? We know Dan's a martial artist. He probably does have a body very similar to that one.
And I think he's obviously taking a liking to everybody in the stream here. So in our audience. Anyways, thank you, Chet, for saving the day. Johnny Galactico had some motives there. It's obvious you are guilty. Johnny Galactico, you have what's coming to you. And did you hear him trying to threaten us?
I know, ridiculous. These influencers,
Two losers. Get out of here, man. Get out of here. Anyways, we do have some news after that drama right there. And Joe, why don't we just get into it? How about that?
It's finally over. The SAG strike is over. Just a few weeks. What, like 2-3 weeks after the writer's strike ended, we finally have some agreements on the negotiation for the SAG AFTRA strike, and there's a lot of things that are going to come out of this. I think we're gonna get some news in the future, probably flooding in a little bit due to basically things that had to be kept on the wraps before.
There was absolutely no action going on between. Maybe there's some, kind of backroom kind of deals in terms of the studios and agents of actors and things like that doing those types of things, but they were hindered. Everybody was hindered in this, so not much could happen. It's not like people could sign contracts, and even if they have a verbal agreement during this downtime, people could change their minds, et cetera, et cetera. So nothing has happened, but I do believe we are going to get a slew of news in terms of castings, in terms of solidified dates, a whole ton of things that'll come our way.
I've got 3 predictions.
Go for it.
1, we are going to see a trailer very, very soon for Red Sonja. The trailer was actually premiered at San Diego Comic-Con. We're talking like 2 months ago or something like that.
Joe, it's been longer. It was July. We're talking 4 months ago.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so the trailer's been done. They just haven't been able to promote it and stuff like that. I think that is coming very soon. I also think we're going to get a very big announcement soon about the cast of the Fantastic Four movie.
We have to
get that soon.
Yeah.
Third thing, and the thing that I'm most excited about, is hopefully very, very soon we'll be hearing information on the Crow movie, which very near and dear to my heart. Love the Crow. That being said, they finished filming over a year ago. We're in post-production for a while, and the movie has been picked up by the distribution team. So it's just a matter of time before we do see that trailer and maybe get some more announcements about it, maybe a release date and stuff like that.
Yeah. Again, the interesting things that are the things you'll notice immediately are now actors can promote films, right? That's a big deal because the Marvels had no promotion with any of their actors.
Right.
And people are like, oh, it bombed at the box office. It only made $21 million. They didn't do any promotions. They didn't do any of those, those sit downs, interviews, or anything. They did nothing. That goes a long way. A long way. You can make as many commercials as you want, but people want to see these people who are playing the characters. Another fantastic thing out of this, crews are going to be able to get back to work. You have pre-production, post-production people working now. They have been. That'll dry up. That would have dried up if this didn't happen. But now, like, crews can be on set. We're talking from everybody to the production assistant all the way at the bottom, to the gaffer who's helping, light this whole scene, with the director of photography, it just goes down the list there of all the people that need to work and need a paycheck, because this, hopefully, it's a 3-year deal. We'll see what happens, but hopefully it doesn't happen again in 3 years. And also the films won't be in flux because with these release dates, that's a big deal right there, because that makes a mess of everything, especially films and shows and things that are contingent upon each other. It's a domino effect. So that's a really, really big deal. And I have one question I want to throw out to the audience and you, Joe. I have my prediction as well, but with these casting news coming out, with trailers coming out, with people being able to promote, do you think comics will spike following those pieces of news?
Yeah, we obviously saw crazy spikes in, basically from the end of 2020 through 2021 and even into early 2022 regarding news and stuff like that. I think that those were unhealthy spikes. I don't think we're going to see those anomaly spikes anymore. But speculation is always a thing. What people don't realize is that speculation wasn't new in 2020.
Wow.
It was, and it's always been around. It was a normal, healthy part of the hobby. And it became a kind of crazy roller coaster ride for the hobby for a while. And it's now back to being normal. So yeah, I mean, books are going to go up in value when there's announcements, or, you know, as far as cancellations, there might be some cancellations that we're seeing, and books might go down in value.
Sure.
Take all those things into account when you're making your purchases, and you know, just buy smart.
And to your point of speculation's always been around. When I was a kid and that first Batman movie came out, yes, I was a kid then. There was speculation. That was the first time I even understood what they didn't term it that, but I was like, oh wow, look at all these Batman books are really expensive now, and there's a movie coming out. I wonder if that's what, you know what I mean? You would see that correlation right there. So I have a feeling it's going to get back. It's going to be higher levels of comic book, prices for key issues and all the speculating and things like that. And a lot of us think that's fun. It is fun. I have fun doing it. Joe, I don't want to sit here and speak for you, but I think you do too. So
yeah, just the economic part of the hobby. I understand why some people shy away from it. Some people aren't interested in it at all. Some people are, for some reason, angry at it. That being said, I enjoy that part of the hobby, and will continue to do so.
For sure. Let us know what you all think. Do you think prices are going to kind of rise, drop based on any sort of news or cancellations or things like that? You let us know what you think in the chat. We'd love to hear from you, as we always do. Joseph, what is the next piece of news that we're going to go talk about?
Oh boy, I would tell you, but I don't have the thing up on the screen, and now I'm going to look, and it is, this one is another one that hits me right in the childhood feels right here. After the success of the Super Mario Brothers movie,
excellent movie, excellent.
Great. It seems like Nintendo has an idea about continuing to put out these video game property movies. Who knows? Are we going to see a Nintendo cinematic universe? I don't know about all that. I don't know about any connectivity, but it would be really cool. And I heard someone talk about this, if they were going to keep doing that and then make a Super Smash Brothers movie to bring them all together. Now, anyway, we're off track at this point. What I'm talking about is a Legend of Zelda movie has been announced. I am very excited about this. I think that 3 of my top 5 favorite video games of all time are Legend of Zelda games. It is by far my favorite franchise. I've played and beat more than 10 of them at this point. Not a lot of the recent ones, because I really don't play video games anymore. But yeah, this is right up my alley. And you might remember a couple weeks ago, one of the books I brought on for Fresh from the Comic Shop was the first appearance of Zelda and Link in comic books. And I actually put that up for sale, and it didn't sell.
Wow.
So I'm probably going to be holding on to that now, especially with this movie coming out.
No, for sure. This is fun. Nintendo did a great job with Super Mario Brothers. I'm not sure how actively involved they were in producing the film, but it doesn't matter. They picked the right people for the project, and that was really nice to see. I have faith in this as well. I remember this back in the day, the gold cartridge, the first game that could be saved. I was like, my mind was blown with this thing. My brother did play this more than I did, though. I couldn't get into it, and I needed to smash buttons and punch people. But I'm just as excited as you are. Let us know your fan casting for Zelda and Link in the chat, if you could.
Ready?
Yeah.
Now I'm saying this if it's live action.
It will be live action, is what the announcement.
Oh, they did say that. Okay, so Timothy Chalamet.
That's perfect.
Timothy, he's got like a little elfy look, kind of like how Orlando Bloom as Legolas kind of got that like.
I think that's great. I think that's absolutely. I'm going to go with one that's going to be absolutely ridiculous but hilarious to me. Jared Leto.
He's too old.
I know, that's why it's funny.
Yeah.
And then Zelda. Who Princess Zelda? Who would be Zelda?
Zelda. How about like Chloe Grace Moretz?
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm going to agree with that. Absolutely.
Yeah, she's kind of got that like elvish, like, little look to her. I could see some pointy
Elvish.
ears
That's
on her.
probably what she hears all the time from.
Yeah, but actually, hold on. I just want to clarify something. The characters in Zelda are not elves. That is a very important distinction to make.
Well, why
They're
does
not.
Link have the? He's got the pointy ears.
You can have pointy ears and not be an elf.
You could be a Vulcan. You're right. You're right.
You could be a Vulcan.
He's a Vulcan. You heard it here first.
Yes.
Link
Anyway,
is a Vulcan. Anyways, moving on. We have two smaller pieces of news. Two little smaller. So which one are we going to talk about first? Huh?
Do we
Look
have
at Kamikaze in the house.
I think we only have one smaller piece of news.
We got two. There's one you want to talk about. They're
okay,
really. Yeah, let's do it.
So the one that, the one that I was going to talk about is that this has actually been in the news for a while. In fact, we first got word of this over 2 years ago, kind of mid 2021. But because things were so backed up at CGC, nothing has come to fruition until very recently. That is that CGC will begin grading pulps. Pulps are, a form of comic-esque entertainment that were around before comics. And they kind of stayed popular, I guess. Thinking back, I really saw pulps that went into the 40s. I don't think I saw much that went into the 50s. I am not the pulp expert, but these thicker books with amazing covers are really collectible and are becoming more and more popular. And, as more and more collectibles are getting graded and such, CGC said, hey, let's hop on the pulp thing. We'll start grading them. They did debut their pulp case because it's a thicker book. They have to do a different case at New York Comic Con a few weeks ago. And I know a lot of people that are excited about this and picking up pulps. And we're actually going to see some pulps later today in the Fresh from the Comic Shop segment.
That is fact. I'm excited for this as well. I'm right now confused as to why that CGC, the red on the left, is just the graphics. It looks terrible. Sorry, guys. But this is exciting, especially for an individual in our chat right now by the name of Bond. Oh, shit. Hold. Let me do it again. Hold on. Sorry. Bond. No. Bond. Paul Bond. Yeah, so he's excited as well, and we'll get into that more. That was okay, Joe. I messed up a few times.
It was all right.
You did good. And finally, our last nugget of news, Blade will be R-rated. I know you guys have not been able to sleep at night until you heard this, but it will join the likes of Deadpool in the MCU as an R-rated film. I'm happy about this. More mature content for mature viewers like ourselves. Like me and Joe are super mature. Mature.
Yeah, I think this is a really good move that they're doing a lot of R-rated stuff because, as we know from the MCU, a lot of stuff that's been coming out recently has been very, I don't want to say like family oriented, but more like funny, younger age appropriate, maybe even more younger age appealing, a lot of comedy injected into these movies. But we know, as comic fans, that a lot of the heart-wrenching and, really graphic stuff has been some of the stuff that we love more, those like death moments in Endgame and Infinity War, as well as, the violence of the Daredevil show that we spoke about last week. Those have been fan favorites. So it looks like they're moving kind of in two directions with the MCU. They're going to have more adult content like this, and then they're going to have the stuff that's more, bring the whole family. And I think that's great because realistically, comics are the same way. There are comics that could be read by, early readers, kids in early elementary school. And there are other comics that you shouldn't be able to buy them unless you're 18 plus. So.
Mimicking real world experiences and Werewolf by Night. Absolutely, Paul. Or absolutely, Bond. Paul Bond.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Great example. I have a kind of a personal question for you, Joe, and you don't have to answer this.
Okay.
But your wife, I hope an adult can take me to see Blade. She's
32. Listen,
okay. All right. Just making sure. Just making sure. Anyway, so that concludes the news, but we do have one other item that we do need to discuss, and we're glad that we have a lot of you on right now because this person is near and dear to our hearts. Christopher Journos, he this is hard for me to say because we both started comic book canon. He has been on a hiatus, but family, he needs to deal with family, dealing with his family, and that's not. I'm not wording this properly, but first of all, we are on great terms with Chris. We love Chris. You all love Chris. That is for sure. The fact of the matter is, he can't continue on due to obligations with his family as a regular co-host of the canon anymore. So he's going to be taking time to spend with his family, taking time to deal with other priorities. But that doesn't mean his involvement will end because he will come on from time to time. He is an alumnus as a co-host, not a guest co-host, a co-host. So it would be unfair to call him a guest co-host when we would have him on.
Right.
Yeah. So
he's a founding member. He's been here a lot longer than I have.
Yes. So again, it's hard for me to kind of verbalize because he's meant so much to the show, so much to me. We become friends through this, just as Joe and I have, him and Joe have as well. So again, we are all on great terms. He just needs to prioritize other things in his life than the canon. He will be back on the canon. I don't know when, but he will be back just making an appearance here and there. So with that, props or flops will be his segment because we've tried to do props or flops ourselves and it just falls flat. So Chris is the props or flops expert. That is his segment. So when he is on, we will have him on. I don't know, Joe, you want to add anything else?
Yeah, I mean, I just wanna say that, like, Chris, like you said, Chris started this, with you, and there would be no canon without Chris. I think he did a lot to, having his own YouTube channel and then starting this one up, did a lot to drive, a lot of the early engagement and stuff like that, early promotion. I started watching the show probably about a year into you guys, or 6 months or a year or whatever, into you guys starting off. And then I ended up as a guest, and then I ended up coming back as a guest a couple times, and then, was asked to fill in for Chris, which was awesome, given the opportunity to do that. And, as things have changed in Chris's life and he's needed to attend to, things outside of the comic world, the real important things, I was asked to be here permanently. And, Chris has been 100% supportive of me the whole time, which is awesome. I could see situations where there might be some animosity with someone filling in for someone, or, in this case, subbing in for them permanently at this point. But yeah, he's been 100% supportive of myself and of the channel, and been on when he can be on, and that's going to continue. He's not gone forever. He's still got his own channel he's doing. He's still going to be back here as a co-host with us at some point, but it's not going to be with the regularity that it once was.
Yeah, no, that's well said. And again, it goes to the people that you guys are, that you made a seamless kind of entry into here, and him accepting you. Great people. We're meeting some great people in this community. And Josh, I just want to say, let Chris know we love him and we are always here for him. You can do that as well, and I think he would appreciate hearing that. All of you guys. Again, this is not a bad thing. Family first, Joe. I mean, that was the first thing out of your mouth when we were, going back and forth with Chris. So it's just important. So again, prioritizing things. So feel free to hit him up. He would appreciate any kind words you have for him. Just be there for him. All right. With that said, we do a little segment called Ask Joe. But before we get into that, I think we should let the chat breathe a little bit, shouldn't we, Joe? Let it breathe. Have people think up of some amazing questions for you, Joe, our guru of Joes, basically is what it is. It's Ask Joe. Like you are the Joe. So while you're thinking about that, why don't we go to our hero, Chet, with his new comic book picks of the week.
Wait, hold on. You have not said hello to the good people in the chat yet.
Wow. I'm going to do that first, actually.
Do that first, then we'll do Ask Joe.
Yeah, then we'll do Ask Joe. Yes, Chris, by the way, Chris is okay. He's okay, everybody. Just want to say that. He is just not going to continue on as a regular co-host. It's kind of official now. He's prioritizing other things in his life that any of us would. Family first is what we'll say to that. He will be back on the show at some point, but he'll never be a guest co-host. He'll always come in because what's the official phrase of like, oh, he's emeritus, blah, blah, blah. He's one of the founding fathers. I don't know.
Founding fathers, that works.
That works. So yeah, so Chris is okay. Anyways, we're just gonna say hi to people like Mojo Quinn. What's up? Josh's Comics, Jordan, Nori, P, Keel. It does take a lot to do shows. Thank you for that. It takes a lot. We got TJ. We got Bond. Paul Bond. Nice. We got Tishu. We got Dr. Frankenstein, who is not under the age of 18. We got, who else do we have? Kamikaze. Hello, Dan De La Torre with his predictions. He's always very thoughtful in his predictions and backing it up with data. Comic prices will continue to go down for the foreseeable future. Great time to buy, but only what you can afford. We got Raw Dog Comics. Spider Dude 71. Hey, everyone. That's all of you fine people. We have, who else do we have? We got Coach Dale, Top Notch Muay Thai. I don't think we've ever seen, have we seen Coach Dale? I don't know, but welcome.
That's, that must be, Dan De La Torre's, secret profile.
That could actually be
his burner account. For
sure. We got 360 in the house. Jeff won't stop asking me about my underwear.
True.
That's a fact. You all should be asking as well. We got Don Gustavo's Whatever It's Stuff. Let's get it indeed. Heroes Reborn. Yo!
Did you notice that Heroes Reborn says something in the chat at like 7 or 7:30 almost every week, and then isn't here for the live
I know.
show?
I don't know. What comes up here?
Come on, John. Hang out with us.
Why don't we have this? It says live face blue smiling. It's an emoji, but I don't know.
It's an emoji. It's that's what happens when you use an emoji that's not like registering.
Oh, that's weak. All right, let's get into it right now. We have to do a special introduction for this special segment. So here we go. Ready? Ask Joe. So good. That was one of our best ones. Like if we had a greatest hits, that would be number 3, I would say.
Yeah, I would say that would 3 or maybe even 2.
April 22nd, 2023 was a pretty good Ask Joe. I'd have to say.
I don't even know if we were doing Ask Joe back then.
No, we were. It was epic. Just don't you worry about that. But we got questions to answer, so we're going to get at it right now. What shall we ask first?
Be careful using the word epic right now in this community.
Maybe that was an Easter egg, bro, and you just ruined it.
Maybe. Okay. All right. First question. This is a non-comic related question. What was my first tattoo? So I have a tattoo on my shoulder here. This is my first one. I got this one 3 days after my 18th birthday. It says one thing that I can depend on, and is a bunch of like ivy leaves, because that is lyrics from one of my favorite bands of all time, Operation Ivy. And it's just a song about how like music is always there as something that you can use as an outlet, something that you can use as, a way to essentially a form of therapy and a form of self-expression as well. And yeah, love that band, love that quote / song, the lyrics and everything like that. And music has certainly always been something that's there for me.
I love that you say that, because it is. I mean, both of us being in vans that are super like popular, like the 27 million people watching us right now. Yeah, that is a fantastic outlet. But I also have to say comic books are that for me as well. I think, I don't want to speak for you, Joe, but comic books have always been there for me in hard times. And I appreciate that too. But I love the story behind that tattoo. We're going to ask another non-comic book question, if you're okay with that, Joe.
Sure.
If you were an animal, What would you be and why?
This is a tough one. I mean, my favorite animals are pandas. So probably something along the lines of a panda, just because I like them. So yeah, we'll go with panda. Why not?
Panda. Okay.
Panda.
You seem like a panda. Kind of, hey, I'm ready for anything. Ooh, I'm gonna roll on my back. Ooh, I'm gonna eat this bamboo. Anyways, that's terrible. With the end of 2023, less than 2 months away. Can you guys believe this?
Wow, yeah.
Are you looking to pick up any grails before the new year? And what are your collecting goals for next year? Those are big questions right there. Big questions.
Yeah, so I actually tried to get one of my grails, and I mentioned this book on my YouTube channel, on Instagram, and on this channel a bunch. ASM 13, first appearance of Mysterio. I was close to getting one today. We were negotiating a price. We were trying to work on it. I made an offer. The offer was not taken. And as it turns out, you know, we were about $100 off.
Oh, Jesus.
This was a 6.0 copy. So we're really close. He actually ended up selling it not even 15 minutes later for the price he was asking.
Oh, okay.
You know, the price he had offered me. And so, you know, I'm not mad about it at all. He got his extra $100. You know, I didn't get the book, but you know, it would have been nice to get it for $100 less. I offered him what the last sale was. Now, previous sales to that were higher. He ended up getting $100, which was around the price of the second to last sale. Irrelevant, but that book I've been trying to pick up in a good grade for years. This was a 6.0 copy. And you know, it was over $1,000. It was a big book. So that book, and Pre-Code Horror. That was the other thing. I walked around the room looking for Pre-Code Horror stuff. I actually didn't get any. I didn't see anything that I wanted there, but that's always on my list.
You didn't preface this by saying you were at a show in Philly today, by the way.
It was a show in Philly today.
I know, just letting everybody know. I'm going to cut
Philly
in.
Comic-Con.
I'm going to ask a question though. Why is your internet so shitty?
My internet?
Yeah, I don't know. Is anybody else having problems watching Joe? He's doing this. Just saying, it makes me sad.
Is really because you were doing that a little bit ago.
Everybody, let us know how the internets, the YouTubes are looking as we go to the next question. This one's a tough one.
Okay. Well, what am I thankful for this year? Oh, that's a tough one. Because there's a lot. There's always a lot to be thankful for. You know, I don't get a lot of breaks in life. I work a full-time job. I do the comic book thing. I got 2 YouTube channels, one that I've been neglecting for a while. So definitely I'm very thankful for the vacation that I had. Because not only was I there, you know, relaxing and stuff like that, but I also got to spend it with, you know, everyone on Shelby's side of the family, my 2 nephews included. And this was the first full year with our youngest nephew, Elliot. So yeah, that was a great week, and it was super fun and very relaxing. So I'm very thankful for that vacation.
I'm gonna play to the crowd a little bit, but I'm gonna be thankful for this channel because every time I'm down in the dumps, right?
Oh, this guy, yeah, okay.
This show always picks me back up, and I'm very grateful for that. And I'm grateful for the question too. Just playing up to your wife as well, just being the nice guy.
Yeah.
Here we go. Niner Foxtrot. Joe, like Mint Hunter Comics, do you also believe it is best to submit books for grading that were printed in the same decade for better results?
I don't necessarily think it needs to be in the same decade. But you shouldn't really stretch, like, so for modern submissions, CGC allows modern is 1975 to present. Now, I would not be submitting books from the 70s with books from the 2000s. Different page quality, different paper quality, completely different like materials that make up those books. So I wouldn't want them to get judged differently. If I'm using, if I'm sending in newsprint stuff, it's going to be all newsprint stuff, stuff that's late 70s, 80s, 90s, versus the stuff that is on that kind of magazine plasticky type paper that they use now, which, they started using, I guess, early 2000s, depending on the company. So yeah, I mean, stuff, I would separate the 2000 stuff from the 90s and before stuff for a modern submission, but not necessarily by decade. That's just my opinion on it. You guys try for yourself, figure out what works best for you.
Yeah, that's a tough one that I just leave to you because I barely great. Anyways. Joe, do you think it's better to sub 30 books at once or break the sub into books of 10? Sorry if this has been asked before. Don't apologize, Joe. PKL, you owe us an apology for apologizing now.
So I don't know about other grading companies, but I know CGC does 25 book submissions. I typically do 25 book submissions because, one, more gets graded at once. Awesome. Two, you end up saving a little bit more on shipping because you're only paying for shipping. If you broke that up into two things, it would cost more to ship two smaller packages than one larger package. Three, just, gets more done, gives you more motivation to get those books pressed, clean, whatever, 25 at a time. That's again, just my opinion on it. Some people do 5 at a time, small batches, because those are going to cost you less. So if you're doing this on a budget and you want to make sure that, $200 put aside, yes, sure. Submit, 10 at a time and don't get hit as bad with the bill. Yeah.
I agree. That just seems like big time for me. I don't do that, but I think if you got it, that's definitely, it's a more efficient, correct? Especially cost efficient.
Yeah, and I just want to go back up to something that Collector Without Fear said about Operation Ivy. I actually was born after they broke up. They were only a band from 1987 to 1989, but I love 80s and early 90s punk music, despite not being alive for most of that.
That's honestly, the fact that you found it is so impressive, by the way. Because you and your generation are garbage. No, I'm just kidding. Wow. You're not. I'm not. I don't know. I'm getting frustrated with the lag. I'm sorry. I love this question, though. Joe, are iconic covers worth investing in, or should you just stick to keys?
All right. So, yeah, Tom, actually, he messaged me this. Remember, I sent you the screenshot, and we totally forgot to put it in as part of the show. But thanks for being here, Tom. And, totally. I mean, they are keys at this point. Books with significant covers or books with covers by significant artists are keys in and of themselves. It's a really cool thing about this hobby, and keys specifically, is that there are so many different things that you can collect key wise. You can collect first appearances. You can collect first cover appearances. You can collect first meetings of characters that you like. First time someone's in a new costume. You can collect iconic covers. You can collect covers by a certain artist, and you can kind of do what you want with that. I've got one of my Fresh from the Comic Shop books is a book that is, its entire value pretty much is derived from who did the cover art. Not even necessarily what the cover art content is, but who did it. So yeah, I think those books are just as much keys as any of them. They're creator driven keys rather than character driven keys, but those are so valid.
It's so funny. Like back in the day, the big books to get were first appearances and deaths, right? There's no such thing as like first cover appearance or anything like that. Or I never knew about that, especially when I was a kid. But deaths is so funny how that's just like, who gives a shit? Because they all come back to life anyway.
They all come back. There's like AFTRA. There's a couple of them that are pretty good.
Yeah, Uncle but what's his face? The Red Hood now. Jason Todd, like for example. With they're gonna be. By the way, they're gonna be releasing the story that if he would have lived, I think in a month or so. But the covers, man. I think they're keys too. I think that's a great explanation you just gave, or opinion. I think that's spot on as well. So I agree. This right here is my favorite question of the week, unless you have something else to add on to that.
Nope, you're good.
All right, here we go. This is a tough question too, by the way. Joe, if all the Joes who ever lived had to battle to the death, who would be the last Joe standing?
I'll tell you, it wouldn't be me. I'm pretty scrappy, but I'm 5'6.5" on a good day. Did martial arts my whole life, but I'm just a little guy. So it wouldn't be me. Let me think. There's always Mean Joe Green. Now, if we're talking about people in their prime, Mean Joe Green would be up there.
Yeah, of course. This is tough,
but,
man.
Yeah.
I do know who, because obviously it'd have to be a bracket system, right?
Yeah.
Where you would get seeded in the bracket system. And I have a feeling your first seeding, it'd be Joe Pesci versus you.
Oh, I could take Joe Pesci. I could probably take Joe Pesci at any point in time. Yeah.
I would think so, but I think that's who you'd be seated with. So you're obviously kind of a lower seed of Joe's. But yeah, that's good right there. BMW fan with the snake eyes. He's in G.I. Joe. He's G.I. Joe.
There we go. Okay.
So technically, anyways, all right. Let us know in the chat what Joe, and be serious. Make it a real Joe. Not like G.I. Joe. That's not fair, actually. Snake eyes would definitely whoop your ass. Snake eyes would be a contender for last Joe standing, but he's not Joe. So anyways, I like this question right here. Best book in this weekend's collection.
Exodus. You're going to have to wait and see, because I actually have it for fresh from the comic shop, at least in my opinion, what the best book is. Okay. Actually, two of the best. I did post the other, if I were to include 3 books, I did post one on Instagram, the Green Lantern 87 First John Stewart, which I actually sold to James from Mint Hunter Comics last night. Him and his wife came over and he ended up buying a bunch of comics from me, including that one. But the other 2 best books from the collection are right next to me, so you will see them in just a bit.
Stick around for Fresh from the Comic Shop. And right there, that ends. Ready? Ask Joe. Nice. That was good, man.
That was a good ending. I liked that one.
That was good. It was impactful, if anything. So that's what we need to be. There's a few Joes here. Joe Rogan. I don't know about Joe Rogan. Joe Mama.
I don't know about that one either.
Joe Mama. That's a good joke. Broadway Joe Namath. Currently, no. I'll tell you, if you got seated with Joe Namath, if it went Joe Pesci, then you beat Joe Pesci. Yeah. Then it moves to you versus Joe Namath. I think you got a chance against Joe Namath.
Joe Namath now, yeah. Joe Namath.
That's how it would happen. That's how it would be. Okay. Joe Manganiello. I don't know if he'd be a contender towards the end of all Joes, though.
He plays Dungeons and Dragons, so I like him.
But he would destroy you.
Yeah.
Would Joe Namath be drunk trying to kiss you?
We're off track now.
One can hope, right? I do have to say, it's a lot doing these fresh from the comic shops, and I think Exodus Comics. I'm just realizing right now, you sent in something.
Tishu wins.
Yeah. Well, he's kind of a badass. But I think you sent in a fresh from the comic shop, and I just was scrolling through when Joe was giving an answer, but they're all videos. Fresh from the comic shop is really tough to do a video. I know we did one last week. I just want to throw it out. Let us know if you did send it. I didn't see it. Joe Piscopo? No. Joe can be Joe Piscopo for sure. Joe Biden, on the other hand?
Good place.
I don't know.
I think he'd break his hip trying to move towards me, but that's another story. I do want to say something real quick. Just a reminder, if you do have a video you want to submit it, send it to us. Don't post it on Instagram. You can post it later or whatever, or you can even post it then. make sure you send it to us because we'll put it up for On Hunt or other set. We haven't been getting submissions for that one. It hasn't really taken off yet. We've gotten a couple. I've done a couple. Yeah, if you need to do one. Yeah.
I believe in it. I believe in On the Hunt. I believe in it. So send us your On the Hunts. Dr. Plagueis was he set the template for what On the Hunt is, and we really appreciate that. So Dr. Plagueis,
yeah, so
well done.
If you have a picture, fresh from the comic shop. If you have a video, send it to us. DM it to us. That's for On the Hunt.
Now, what you've all been waiting for, our hero Chet with his new comic book day picks of the week.
Losers, it's your boy, Chet G-Pot, and I'm back with another week of new comic book day picks. This week, I've got 3 books that are so good, you're going to need to change your pants. First up, we have Spawn 347 from Image Comics. This issue is going to be insane. Groups from all sides of the battlefield are converging on the empty throne of hell, and all is about to make a decision that could affect the course of humanity. If you're a fan of Spawn, or just good comics in general, you need to pick up this issue. Next, we have Superior Spider-Man #1 from Marvel Comics. I'm curious to see what Mark Bagley and Dan Slott have in store for the 10th anniversary celebration of Superior Spider-Man. These 2 guys are some of the best creators in the business, and I'm sure they've got something special planned for this issue. So, if you're a fan of Spider-Man, Dr. Octopus, or Mark Bagley and Dan Slott, you need to pick up Superior Spider-Man 1 this week. You won't be disappointed. Finally, we have Wildcats #12 from DC Comics. The Wildcats, the Seven Soldiers, and the Court of Owls are all going head-to-head for control of Halo and all its secrets. It's going to be a bloodbath, and I can't wait to see who comes out on top. If you're a fan of action, adventure, and comic book craziness, then you need to pick up Wildcats #12 this week. You won't be disappointed. So remember, if you don't like these books, you're clearly wrong. I'm the expert, and I'm always right. So go out and pick them up. Losers, shut out.
Wow. We went from saying, hey, he's really becoming one of us to calling everybody, including us, losers. He's got hero complex, I guess. I love Dr. Plagueis' line here, hide your wives. Yeah, I mean, he's got a hot body. He has a hot body. I am interested in Superior Spider-Man, seeing what they're going to do with that. Joe, just a tangent here. Have you read Spider-Boy #1?
I have not. I kind of breezed through it. It looks fun. I read the first maybe almost half, but I kind of breezed through the rest of it just to check it out. First half seems great. I'll get around to finishing it at some point this year, hopefully.
It's look, I know it's the title Spider-Boy. It did come off a little bit too juvenile for me.
It's clearly meant. It's clearly meant.
I know what they're doing. They're trying to get a younger demo in, but like, I am still intrigued into what's happened here. They give little clues, little hints where he's come from. So I'm interested. I am interested. No. Did Chet drop nudes? No, not yet, but maybe that'll happen. His ears are, I'm sure he's not bashful, but
check out onlychets.com.
But Brendan, I did see your comment. I'm late. I can't remember what you said, but it was funny. I meant to highlight that. I am sorry. All right, moving on. We have the segment you've seriously all been waiting for. The one and the only segment that I never remember. And Joe always has to remind me. It's something about comic books, though, Joe.
Yes.
What is it? Look.
This segment.
Oh, never mind. Go.
Brought to you by Spider Dude Comics and EGS Grading Services is referred to by the name Fresh from the Comic Shop!
Live from the pressing salon! That's right, we ask you, the audience, to send in your fresh gets each and every week, and you never disappoint. Not only can you share your fresh gets with the community, but you can also win a fabulous monthly prize courtesy of EGS Grading Services and Spider Dude Comics. Now, we had a little hiccup in our Fresh from the Comic Shop a couple weeks ago where we had Justin, aka Raising Al, move on to the semifinals, but he ended up winning the month of October. So we had to replace Justin.
Yep.
And that replacement will be the Collector Without Fear. Brendan, congratulations. You will be going up against somebody, and I don't remember who it is, but we're going to have that go. Live tomorrow, I would say.
I don't know my notes.
I don't remember. It's there. I know it, but I don't remember.
Somebody.
Off the top of my head.
Whoever won last week, yeah.
Yeah, the person who won last week.
Which was somebody.
It definitely was somebody with a good thing.
Dr. Plagueis?
I don't remember. Anyway,
Dr. Plagueis, he had remember it was the Justice League Dark team.
No, I think Dr. That was in October.
You're lying to me.
I don't like lying. I'm a terrible liar. That's
I don't remember who won last week.
Sarcastic. We'll get to it. We're not going to screw anybody over. We promise. But yeah, we ask you guys to send in your fresh gets each and every week. You never disappoint. We have 3 criteria we judge these on, whether it be us or a guest co-host. First up is take a well-composed shot, right? Have it well lit. Have it, nicely positioned in the center of frame or to the right of frame or to the left of frame, but have it featured and have everything else surrounding it. Have it relate to the book. That's right. Give us some nice depth of field, what the Collector Without Fear does all the time. Make it pop, make it sing, have fun, and think outside the box. Think of things you could bring into the picture that relate to that book. Get artistic, have fun with it. That's the most important thing. The second criteria is, Joe.
The second criteria is make sure that it is something unique, something we've never seen before. It doesn't need to be $30,000. It can be $3 for all we care. Just have something cool, maybe a golden age book that we've never seen before, something from years past, something from before our lifetimes. Mark Lecker did a good job at this. Maybe it's got some original art drawn on it or something special about it, like an error printing or a double cover or the Pope sneezed on it. Not Mike, the Pope of Chilitown, the actual Pope sneezed on it. That would be pretty cool. Anyway, make it unique. And then on to the third criteria, Jeff.
The third criteria is pull at our heartstrings, tug at our heartstrings. Tell us a story. Was your mom an astronaut and she went up into the space shuttle and you gave her your lucky comic book just for a good luck gesture to have and hold with her and bring it back? Because that good luck comic book is going to go to space and come back. But guess what? She was doing one of her experiments in that lab, and it became a satellite that they left out in space. And it's in space now. You'll never see that book again. Who's gonna dock with that satellite? Your mom, the astronaut, lost that book. But now you're an adult. Now you're an adult, and you can buy that book back, and you can tell us a story of how much it means to you, how mad you were at your mom for flying that book to space, leaving it in a satellite, and coming back down to earth without it. But now you have that book again. Joe, that's a great story. Am I right?
That was something, man.
Thank you. It hit close to home for many reasons. No, my dad's not an astronaut. My mom isn't either. So anyways, but those are the 3 criteria we look for in the books. Well-composed shots, unique book, and tug at our heartstrings. Now, for the book of November, y'all check this out. Joe, we like this one. The Incredible Hulk #1, the Perez variant. As you can see with EGS Comics, you get a customized label. You got the green 9.8 right there. You got the Hulk little avatar at the top in the middle. You got it in green right there. Hulk #1, George Perez variant. It is outstanding what EGS offers us, the community, because EGS is part of the community. Tony, the president of EGS, look at this deal he's giving us. Save 5% off your EGS order using the code Cannon5. You got optional custom labels, free graders notes, and fast turnaround times. EGScomicsgrading.com. Link is down below. Also, Spider Dude provides the books as well. That link is down below too. So exciting stuff. Exciting stuff. We're just going to get right into it with somebody who's already won this year, but I am very impressed. This has got to be his best submission of forever. That's Josh's Comics 01. Look at that, guys. Look at that. Daredevil 131, the first appearance in Origin of Bullseye. I finally picked up this huge grail of mine. Obviously, it's one of the biggest Daredevil issues ever. I consider both Bullseye and Kingpin to be Matt's biggest foes. Shout out to 360 Comics for helping me check this off on the list. Not only a great guy, but a great friend and person in the community. This is my Fresh from the Comic Shop for this week. Joe, I like what he did here.
Yeah, very cool, very cool with the character in the background. I like that he's on the opposite side. You know, Bullseye's on the left side of the comic, on the right side of the picture here. Very, very cool. And the cards action shot flying through the air as Bullseye does.
Truly, Josh, this is your best, by far your best submission, and you've gotten better and better. And I think we've actually given you props weeks ago for this, but this surpasses anything you've ever done. So appreciate that submission right there. We got 630 Collectibles. Been on the hunt for the first appearance of Phantom X for a while and was lucky enough to find a newsstand copy for $1. Another example that patience is key in this hobby, because I've almost spent much more on this book on multiple occasions. Anyway, hope you all have a good week. Joe, that's a nice get, I'd have to say.
Yeah, I mean, I love this book. I love this the new X-Men run. Phantom X is such a sick character, and for this book to be a newsstand, this was early 2000s.
Yeah, I mean,
so we're talking probably around like 2 or 3% of the print run on this book.
Crazy.
Certainly 5% or less.
Got it for $1.
For $1, I mean, this book, I would buy a mid-grade direct edition copy for $1. So getting a newsstand copy for $1 is phenomenal.
Yeah, so great work. 630 Collectibles. Joseph, what is your first fresh get of the week?
Ooh, my first fresh get of the week. All right, so this one comes with a little bit of a story. It's actually multiple pieces here. Last week I was watching The Experience. For those of you who don't know, The Experience is a round-the-clock comic book YouTube channel. They have a ton of different content. A bunch of different creators make content for them. A lot of live videos talking about comics, talking about new stuff that's coming out, talking about collecting comics, comic book news, and also people doing sales. I do sales there on Wednesday, but I was watching on a different day of the week. I forget what day, and they were selling some original art. Well, as it turns out, really cool piece of original art that I got for super cheap, $50.
What?
This is Mark Bagley original art.
What?
Now it's from Ben Reilly's Scarlet Spider issue number 3, which, you know, not a super sought after run or anything like that, but it doesn't matter. It's Mark Bagley original art. Really, really cool.
Dude.
So I picked that up, and then I got that, by the way, from Nick Barucci from Dynamite Comics / Dynamic Forces. Then last night, I mentioned James came over, Mint Hunter Comics. He brought me a page from the same run. Now, he had gotten this one from Nick Barucci as well. I guess Nick bought a bunch of pages from this run and was like selling them, trading them, or whatever. He was given this by Nick, and he included it in part of a purchase trade we made. So I got both of these, and then I just got that one last night. Then I went to the con today, and in a dollar bin, I found the issues
That's great.
that those pieces of art are from. Ben Reilly, Scarlet Spider number 2 and number 3. Crazy stuff.
That is so cool. And I'll tell you what, if that was like a sub from an audience member, that would absolutely be considered, because that is a great story right there.
Yeah, they're both Bagley art. They're both signed by Bagley. I believe John Dell did the inks on them as well. And yeah, I mean,
very cool.
You can't say no to Bagley art. Like
no, Bagley. I mean, he's like an iconic Spider-Man artist. I mean,
absolutely.
He was the 90s for Spider-Man. By the way, I just want to pause, take a moment that Chris may be here, may not be here. He popped in to say, hey. It's probably when I was talking about the astronaut story, which is not a true story, if anybody was wondering.
Wow.
Moving on. Moving on. We got Scruffy Comics. That's not his official theme song, but we're going to just work with that. Okay, here we go. I was at one of my local comic shops, and I found something I've never seen before. That giant size Marvel Treasury Edition number 26, featuring the Hulk battling the Harpy. Then I found this Incredible Hulk 162 with the first appearance of Harpy, Betty Ross. Both books are almost the same I don't know how much. I don't know much about the Treasury Edition comic or any info. I bet you people. I don't know either. Joe, are you familiar with this?
Yeah, so there's a lot of treasuries. They started in the 70s and went to the 80s, and they kind of discontinued them, probably because they're really bulky and hard to store. They don't. Most of them don't have a lot of value unless they're in really high grade or one of the few sought after ones. So not a ton of value there, but it's very cool. And I love that this book has almost the same cover as the. It's a little bit different. It looks like two artists were told the same thing.
Yeah.
And like two artists drew the same cover, but in their own style.
Yeah, you
But
got
they're
MODOK
very, very similar.
Yeah, you got MODOK in that Treasury Edition. Mark Leneker or maybe Dan De La Torre would know more about these. But I think that's a really cool submission. I like that. Great finds right there. For sure, Scruffy Comic 69. Next up, we got Nukes Comics, and I've said this before. I'm into this this run here. I haven't read, I think, after issue 20 or so, but I'm into the run. I am absolutely into the run. So Nukes, fresh from the comic shop, Amazing Spider-Man number 7. Peter runs into an old friend while meeting with Norman Osborn. He has an interesting offer for Peter, but Peter decides to walk away. Just as all seems calm, an old enemy comes swooping in to exact his revenge on Spider-Man. Story by Wells, art by Junior, just John Romita Jr. I picked this up from DBS. Good stuff indeed. We can dig it. We can dig it. We can dig it. We can dig it. And I'm going to go with my first fresh cut of the week. Is that cool?
Let's see it, dude.
I'm going to do it. These are more of my reads right here. So they're obviously modern. I only have 2 this week. I didn't have much time. I got Star Wars: The High Republic number 1. Excited to read this. I haven't read it yet. But I did notice I pulled this off the shelf at Midtown Comics. Joseph, do you see that?
It looks like there's a spine tick going.
And I'm angry because usually I'm good about that. But it's color breaking too, Joseph.
Wow.
I'm going to sue somebody. Is that, you're not a lawyer, I know, but can I sue?
Can you sue? I mean, you can sue someone for anything. You're just not going to win anything.
Well, I'm going to find a lawyer and do it, or I'll just do it myself.
Recommend not wasting your money like that.
Well, I'm going to show you. I'm going to get a lot of money for suing them. All right, we're going to move on though. Neighbor to the North. We haven't seen Neighbor to the North in so long. And Joe, if he knew you as well as I do, he would be playing to you in your interests and your love.
Is this pre-code horror? Oh, Zelda. Okay, cool.
The display case looks so good with the addition of the OG game. I'm so happy to now have a proper tribute to such an incredible title and piece of childhood nostalgia. That's fantastic right there. Very happy and very timely too with the news that we're going to have a live action Zelda. And you can see the original game bottom left and the issue that you have yet to sell. But I have a feeling, Joe,
No, that's not the book that I was talking about.
Oh, that's not the first Zelda.
That's Legend of Zelda 1. Which is the first like kind of full whatever. But there was it was the Nintendo Comic Systems sneak preview issue had a preview of the Zelda book.
Oh, okay.
And so that's the true first appearance. This book's great too and worth a decent amount. And I have one of these in my PC as well. Probably gonna keep that other one on my PC at this point now.
And it's Valiant too. Valiant Comics. For those.
Yeah, Valiant had the contract with Nintendo.
That's how they started.
All that early Nintendo stuff.
Valiant has had. I mean, they had so much potential. They came back with a bang. It was awesome, and then they just went to shit again. But anyways,
yeah.
Mark Leneker is up next. We love us some Mark Leneker, don't we?
We do.
I love this submission too. I couldn't let 2023 go by without celebrating the 90th anniversary of King Kong. I love how, by the way, Mark Leneker always gives us nice nuggets and puts things into perspective. And I love what he says here. This was he's talking about King Kong. This was the Star Wars of the Depression era crowd. Even though Kong had been in comics as a parody or original stories for years, it wasn't until 1968 when Gold Key did the authorized adaptation of the movie. In 1976, Whitman reprinted it as a Treasury edition, another Treasury edition, to capitalize on the big budget remake. I remember the Kong and Godzilla marathons on WOR Channel 9 when I was a kid during Thanksgiving weekend. Finding good quality editions of these books drove me bananas. It's a jungle out there, but they didn't make a monkey out of me. Those are all, I love those quips. Hail to the king. That's very, 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 very cool, Mark Leneker. And I'm sure just as cool.
You know what's funny?
What is funny?
When we saw the first, I think it was Scruffy, did the first
oh yeah,
the Treasury. We mentioned Mark Leneker. Do you know what this is? And then he
because
put those
I didn't
pictures side by side, and they look very similar.
They do. I bet you they're the same people, by the way. Joseph, your second fresh get of the week.
Yeah. Okay. So this is another book from. This is a book from the collection I got this weekend. I think it was Exodus that asked earlier, what's the best get? Well, I said I posted the first John Stewart Green Lantern book. This is one of the other top 3 books, and then I'm going to show my last fresh get of the week will be probably the best book in the collection. But this is super cool. This was actually part 2. This collection was part 2 of collection I got a couple weeks ago. If you remember, the collection that had a lot of Golden Age romance. Well, there was some more Golden Age romance, including this beauty. This is Top Love Stories number 9 from, I want to say 1952, early 1950s. And this right here is, I don't know if you'll be able to see it right there, an L.B. Cole cover.
Yeah, I see it.
Yep. L.B. Cole, one of the most popular Golden Age artists. More for his, sci-fi and crime stuff, but certainly his romance covers are very collectible as well. I think I will probably be sending this one off to get graded, and might be a keeper. I do collect a little bit of L.B. Cole stuff, so that might end up being a keeper.
That's a good talking piece for even people not collecting. That's a good talking piece to put in your living room when you have people over for whatever social event. But
70-year-old pieces of paper.
But it's cool though. It's really cool. I mean,
yeah.
It puts things, it's definitely dated, which again is something cool, a talking piece in those living rooms. All right, moving on. God, this guy does not quit. Raising Elm. He's already won. He's been a finalist for many times. His submission with the Deadpool thing or Beard Pool, outstanding. And this one as well. I just love what he did here. So, Justin, Raising Elm, a big howdy. Hey to Woody's Comic Roundup gang. My submission for this week is Disney Comics issue number 4, which was released in January of 1996. If I'm not mistaken, this is the first comic book appearance of Sheriff Woody, Buzz Lightyear, and the other toys from Andy's room. I wanted to grab this issue for Elijah's PC because as of right now, he is obsessed with his Sheriff Woody doll. That's awesome. We, Randy, Irene, 83, and I plan on giving Eli his own Buzz Lightyear for Christmas this year, but which toy will come out on top as Elijah's favorite toy for 2024? Only time will tell. Much love, comic fan. I can't wait to hear it, by the way, and I love the fact that he loves Woody right there. So I'm sure he's going to start getting into the movies if he hasn't done so already. Well done. Well done on parenting. Absolutely fantastic job.
You got a friend in me.
There you go. Randy Newman.
Randy Newman.
Did we hire Randy
friend in me?
It sounds just like him.
Yeah, I get told that a lot.
Anyway.
That being said, I'll tell you, Justin won last month, but that picture was perfect.
What? The beard pool?
No, the
Woody thing. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
like everything. Again, take notes. Guy does a good job of well-composed shot and thinking outside the box.
Oh, Snap just said LB Cole also did a cover of an issue of Illustrated Story of Horses. I have an inside joke about that book specifically with James from Minhunter Comics. He bought it from me one time, and now every time we see an Illustrated Story of Horses book, we just take a picture of it and send it to each other.
That's amazing, by the way. You know what else is amazing? I have an update on one of our audience members. Don Gustavo's whatever it's stuff. He just vomited in his mouth, swallowed it, and said that was some good ass vomit after eating McDonald's. So I guess he vomited the McDonald's up and then swallowed it back down, and it just tasted great. So
Great
it's like,
comic book content.
It's like he ate McDonald's twice, almost. I would say. Tell us if that's correct, Don. Would like to know. Who do we got next? We got Comic Demon in the house. Look at this gorgeous cover from Comic Demon. Emma Frost, right? Another week playing catch up, but worth it with another sweet Emma Frost cover to add to my White Queen collection. That's a nice looking cover, Joe. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, Emma Frost is such a cool character. Just the character design and you know what they can do with her and everything. And yeah, especially like her white background covers and stuff like that. It's a really cool one. Who did the art on this?
I don't know, man. This is definitely
it almost looks like Adam Hughes. I don't think it is, but it looks like someone who's kind of maybe inspired or influenced a little bit.
Yeah, it's got that definitely got that tone or texture, however to describe that. But it's got a $14.99 sticker on. So again, I think it's a variant, but
yeah, I'm sure it is.
Anyways, nice. That's a nice submission right there. Moving on to my second fresh get of the week. I am excited to read this because I really like the first issue. Again, guys, Joe, I know you're not into this property, but this is going to be a gritty version of Transformers. This is Transformers #2. I'm excited to read this one as well.
It's really cool art there.
I love
it. That's from a cockpit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a very cool point of view.
Starscream looks like maniacal. Look at him; he just looks maniacal. And I hope this doesn't spoil. I'm just.
Is that a Kevin Eastman cover?
No.
Doesn't it look like styled like Kevin Eastman?
It does. You're right. This is the artist of the book, Daniel Warren Johnson.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah. Again, like he looks maniacal, right? And this isn't your like afternoon cartoon Transformers, because last issue he literally took a human and just popped him, like literally, just it was. So, anyways,
gonna pop humans, man.
Not cool at all. That's a good thing we got the Autobots on the planet. Moving on though, Brixco Comics, also known as Bond. Paul Bond. That was terrible, Joe.
It was not the best.
What the hell's happening? I feel like we're getting worse.
It's because we didn't get our fix of the Eagles today.
Yeah, that's probably why. You're right. All right, we're good. We'll be much better next week. But let's just show off his. Should we show off his fresh get?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay. Brixco Comics. I was a huge Shadow fan as a kid growing up in the 90s and had all these action figures. And I always wanted this Furba knife, but alas, for some reason, my mother would never get me one. I can't imagine why. Over the last 2 weeks, I've been picking up a lot of the Shadow collectibles that includes these original figures. That includes these original figures like I had as a kid. Finally got the metal foobar knife I wanted, and I picked up these fantastic Shadow pulps. One of the coolest things I picked up was something I found out about the pulp con I attended last week. Speaking to a dealer there, I learned he had original first printings of the 3 Shadow books from 1933. We struck a deal. I received them this week in the mail. Really enjoying all the awesome Shadow stuff out there I'm discovering exists while on the hunt. Yo, that is a cool fresh get right there. Especially how it ties into his childhood. Am I right, Joe?
Yeah, like we said earlier, CGC is going to be starting to grade pulps soon. I know that Paul is probably going to be sending in a bunch to get graded because he's been picking them up a lot recently.
Yeah, that is really cool. Again, props. Moving on, we got Comic Toby. Look at Comic Toby. We have Amazing Spider-Man number 37, the Arthur Adams variant. After a hard week of fighting crime, MJ taking Peter's clean clothes out of the dryer and smelling it for freshness. Has to be what she's doing. Has to be. Joseph, your third fresh get of the week. Is it your third? Yeah, your third.
Yeah, my third. So this is
gonna be a good one.
Yeah, this is gonna be good. This is the one I mentioned on the phone to you that you weren't sure what this book was. I told him the title and issue number, and you were like, I'm not sure what that is.
Yeah.
You're gonna see it now. This book was in the collection I bought. This is the first time I've ever found this book in the wild. First time I've ever owned it. Probably gonna get this one graded because it's a pretty sharp copy. Talk about a controversial cover. We have Alf number 48. That's all I gotta say. This is okay. So we James and I were looking up what this book goes for graded. Like a 9.0 is like $250.
That's insane
for this book from what, the early 90s, late 80s, yeah, 90, 91 maybe. Yeah, because it has the cap head, so it probably was 1991. Yeah. So this book, 9.8, last of a 9.8, $1,000.
Wow. What do you think? What's your prediction here?
What my prediction grade wise?
Yeah,
I think it's probably a 9.2, 9.4. So we're looking at a couple $100 there. If I squeak the 9.6, 9.6s are selling for about $500 or $600. So let's hope for it.
You didn't find that in like a dollar bin or anything, did you?
No, it was in a collection that I bought.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah. That was the one you were definitely most excited about.
Yeah, and I just highlight me one more time. We just need to show this cover one more time.
Oh yeah.
Very important.
Very important.
And the weirdest thing, it says, caution, do not buy if safety seal is missing. Joke on the word seal. Alf is saying, so hurry up already. And then it said no, it says at the bottom, no animals were injured in the making of this cover.
Who would allow that to pass? Like, seriously.
I don't know. Some editor was like, yeah, it looks fine.
You may have a buyer.
Thrown that one in.
You may have a buyer, by the way.
Oh, there we go. Sorry.
That is fantastic. That was absolutely, you hyped that up perfectly. All right, moving on. We got Marvel Man 616 Comics. Marvel Comics, Marvel Zombies #1, 2023. Loving this cover. I like this cover too. I think it's a pretty badass Wolverine zombie cover. That's crazy.
That's sweet, yeah.
And finally, we got Nori Jordan closing us out this week. Now that my search for Thunderbolts books is almost concluded, I've started seeking out Daredevil, Elektra, and Bullseye covers. Daredevil 25 was the first book I read after returning to the hobby after a 20-year break. Boy, things have changed. Matt Murdock was in jail and Elektra took over in his place. This week I pick up Daredevil 25, the 1 in 25 Peach Momoko variant, which is a beautiful cover. There are so many beautiful Elektra covers, so who knows? Maybe getting them all will be my next mission. Take care, everyone. I'll tell you what. Never count out Nori Jordan on his missions because he gets what he wants. I mean, am I right, Joe? He gets what he wants.
Absolutely.
He owns possibly all of the Thunderbolts issues that have ever existed, ever been printed.
No, I got a Thunderbolts #1 in the collection that there was a Thunderbolts #1 and a first appearance of Thunderbolts in the collection that I bought this past week.
Oh, did he ask? I don't know.
Did who ask?
Nori. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm confused. Never mind.
Wow.
Never mind. By the way, going back to your issue, he's holding him down. What's the contract?
Yeah.
Oh God. Anyways, Joseph.
Yeah.
We got some decisions. A decision to make, not.
So you tell me. I only have one that stuck out to me that I really like.
I think this sticks out for you too, but we know it's ineligible. I mean, Josh, seriously, man.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not talking about, Raising Elms was phenomenal. Josh's was phenomenal, but they are not eligible.
No. So
I have one that stuck out though.
I do like Brixco.
Very cool, very cool.
What he said and what that means.
Yeah. You know what? I didn't jot that one down, but probably because I was sitting here thinking, okay, don't forget to talk about CGC and the Great and the Pulps.
This one right here, though, I really did like Neighbor to the North.
Oh, yeah. You know what? For some reason, I guess I just wasn't jotting things down. Those aren't the two that I was thinking, though. But those two are contenders. So Brixco, Neighbor to the North. The other one that I really liked was Scruffy's.
Yeah, Scruffy's was cool.
Hulk. I just love that it's they're different. It's not like that, but they're so similar. And I had never noticed this before. You know, I own multiple copies of that Treasury.
That's crazy.
And yeah, I've never noticed how similar these two covers are. Especially, you know, Harpy's a pretty significant character there with Hulk. And yeah, never noticed. Very cool that it was kind of spotted, and it's not often you see these treasuries either.
Yeah,
they're kind of definitely a forgotten collectible. So that one really stood out to me. But yeah, you're right. Paul's with the you know, regathering something for his childhood and something definitely very unique. You know, these pulp books are what he said 1933.
He said 33
years old.
He did say 33.
90 years old at this point.
Yeah.
And then yeah, that Zelda setup looks very, very sick with all the stuff. This is a tough one. I'm really torn between these three.
I know which way I'm leaning between.
Are you leaning somewhere?
And by the way, I do want to mention P. Keel asked the submission. I you know what? I thought I saw it, but after 5 p.m. Eastern time, we don't take any more submissions. So just keep that in mind. This submission will be for next week unless you do another submission you want to share. So just please keep that in mind. Yeah, I'm leaning one way. I feel like you know which way I'm leaning.
Are you leaning towards the Zelda?
Yes.
Okay. That I was kind of leaning towards. I initially was thinking Scruffy's, and you kind of jogged my memory.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's go with the Zelda. I think it's got really cool perspective here. It was part of the news, so it's really topical.
Yeah,
that's you know, pretty significant. And then just the fact that it has this really cool setup with the other, you know, the games and stuff, and the what looks like a little figure, a small statue or something like that.
Yeah, it is.
Neighbor to the North. Let's pick that one.
Neighbor to the North, you have not submitted in a long time, but that doesn't matter because you're moving on to the semifinals. We'll find out who you're going up against next week. We will have our first semifinals going off this week, though. This week will be Brendan, the Collector Without Fear, against somebody from last week that we cannot remember right now, but we will.
I think it was Dr. Playas last week.
Okay, we'll look that up. I think you're right too. But yeah, great submissions this week. Great show this week. We had a hero in Chet. We had an update on Chris again. He'll be back on the show at some point, but again, you know, taking care of priorities in his life. But I am always grateful for this show and Joe because it rhymes.
That's
so
me.
That was me cueing you to kind of give your final thoughts for tonight.
Oh, I thought you were saying you were grateful for me.
I am.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. So, fun fact: I just received a message from a buddy of mine who landed at JFK Airport recently, coming back from Japan, and I'm gonna go buy his comic collection tonight. It'll be a midnight comic collection purchase. He lives about 45 minutes from here, actually, right near Paul Bond. So maybe I'll after picking up the collection, I'll go throw pebbles at Paul Bond's window.
Ooh, that's
and.
Play what song would you play for Paul Bond?
What song would probably just a clips of the Ask Joe theme song over and over again.
Oh, shit. We gotta record this shit. We have not been in the studio yet.
Yeah.
Yet. Notice how I said yet, because there could be a comic book canon album
someday. Yeah, so I'm going to get a comic collection after this because this has been a non-stop comic book weekend, and that's what we love about this hobby. But yeah, thank you all for being here. Thank you all for showing your love for Chris as well. With that announcement, we've kind of spent the past couple weeks talking behind the scenes about the situation and trying to help Chris through his difficulties that he's having right now. And we're all here to support him. I know you guys are too. And like Jeff said, he will be back. He will be back soon. Yeah. Thank you all.
We'll be back too, as you know, next week, 8 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Pacific. Please continue to send in your fresh from the comic shops. Go for On the Hunt. Send them. But don't just send video walking around. Give us something like Dr. Plagueis style. That's the person who set it up. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have anything else more to say, just other than gratitude for all you fine people. Until next week, how about this? How about this, Joe? How about y'all be good to yourselves and be good to others? Peace.